It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 7. Ezekiel 7. I'm going to start at verse 19, and it reads, "They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowls, because it is a stumbling block of their iniquity." I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, all glory to Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Racha, Kodesh Brakatham. I say double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, who teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and in freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwat out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you I say shalom. It's your brother Yawasop out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant, coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. This lesson is in regards to this article that I saw on Newsbreak app. As a Spirit, I'm passing this this area near my job, and it's a restaurant. It used to be a 24-hour restaurant, and it stopped being 24 hours, but now it's completely closed, showing you the state of this economy, you know. So the article goes into, you know, the state of this money. You know, it said the silver and the gold shall not, they shall cast their silver and gold in the streets because it's going to be worthless. You know, when you go into the Whining Republic and, you know, Germany, and how, you know, the whole history of Hitler and, you know, the inflation and the money being worthless, you know, to the point where they threw that shit out of the streets. You know, you needed a wheelbarrow full of money to buy a loaf of bread, you know, which then is called hyperinflation, which is going to come to this place, you know, soon. You know, going into, what's that, 2 Kings, I believe, chapter 6, where it talks about the king, and, you know, it costs so much silver for the head of I forgot what animal it was. I think dove's dung was a certain amount. I don't want to pull it up, Salakia, but basically that's going into the hyperinflation in the scriptures. But Whining Republic showed hyperinflation, you know, in history. And we about to see hyperinflation in reality very soon. That's why the inflation is not going nowhere. You know, I was listening to this economist, and he was going into how every time the feds have called it a soft landing and said, you know, how, you know, the economy was going to have a soft landing, it's never been a soft landing. You know, showing you the power of this devil, you know, to be coming with the same tricks and antics and whatnot. But this is the article. It says Ohio is now facing massive bank closures this year. So what will next year bring? You know, and I was thinking about this because, you know, this year is 2023. So when you add that up, it's a 7. So it's not coincidental that all these banks are closing, because they, you know, the banks are failing. You know, they said a majority of the banks are insolvent, even the major banks, you know, because they about to basically kill this system and bring in a new one. Then next year will be 2024, which 2 and 2 is 4, plus a 4 is an 8. So new beginnings. So I mean, I'm not gonna, you know, you know, speaking as a man, I'm not gonna say, you know, in my opinion, yeah, we're gonna see massive change next year, because, you know, again, you got a lot of things ending and dying, and, you know, this year. So you know, just spoke on that store, you know what I mean? This year's that store closed. That store been around. I mean, it's not a store, it's a restaurant. That restaurant has been around for years, though. You know, it used to be a 24-hour joint. You know, showing you the state of the economy. They can't, even though you were 24 hours, you still ain't making enough money. You know what I mean? Your bills is exceeding your profit. It says Ohio is now facing massive bank closures this year as Huntington National Bank announces 7 locations shuttering soon. Major banks continue to push customers toward online banking, and that's, basically, because they're in cahoots with it. You won't need to have a brick and mortar store if everything's done online. Creating the system where everything will be digital. So that beast system, that fourth industrial revolution, where everything is automatized or automated, is laying the groundwork for that. It says, according to the data from the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC, approximately 8,000 banks were in operation in 2000, but by 2022, this figure was halved. So now it's less than, or it's 4,000. They say out of 8,000, it's 4,000. Disappointing news for customers of Huntington National Bank in Ohio, with the bank announcing today that 7 locations will soon be closing. The Ohio-based bank announced a raft of closures across several states yesterday. And, so again, people looking at this like it's little, but it's not little. You know what I mean? Again, the banks deal with our financial system. So if the banks are closing, what do that tell you about our financial situation, this financial system? You only got the banks closing, you got a lot of businesses closing. And prior to when when they shut down the economy and had everyone stay in their homes, and whatnot, because of that CHIP and CV and all that. This time it won't be any stimuluses or bailouts, because they want you in a state of desperation. So when they come with their solution, you'll jump right on it. So bear with me for a second. So lucky. So this is the book of Genesis chapter 47. I'm gonna start at verse 13. And there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore. And and I forgot what elder made mention of this. I want to say it was Elder Ramlab. But you got to understand that these devils is using the playbook from the scriptures. You know what I mean? Everybody had to come to Egypt for the want of bread. And this is the modern day Egypt, America, Babylon the Great, aka America. These so-called white people, these Edomites, are the modern day, Egyptian. It says, and Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn. Salakia. I started at 13. And there was no bread. Salakia. And there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine. And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they brought. And Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. And when money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, Give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. And you're going to have the money fail in this modern day Egypt, That's why it's better off to be able to barter, you know what I mean? No, don't get me wrong. Or use real money, which real money is silver, gold, cattle, property, people, It's funny too, because you got to remember, this country was founded off of slavery, and that's factual. No matter how much they try to cover that up, but then it's like the end of the world when we say a man that selleth a man, or those that basically put those in captivity should go in, who leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. These things are issues once they backed up by the scriptures, and we say that, if a man leadeth in captivity, he's gonna go into captivity. That's an issue now. Although this country factually has been founded by slaves. Well, not founded, but built up, This is the book of this again, the money felon, you know what I mean? You go to the book of Habakkuk chapter 2. This is the book of Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 1, and it reads, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he shall Salakia. Salaki, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahweh shall answer me and said, write the vision, which is the prophecy, and make it plain upon a table. So, you don't have to make this or dress it up, so like glamorously. Scriptures talk about the Bible is a book of lamentations, mournings, and woe. So there's nothing really glamorous about any of that. It's beautiful to understand your history and to know how we was once a great people and how we were joined onto the Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. But it's a lot of that's why John talked about the little book. He said when he ate it, it was sweet in his mouth, but then it became bitter. So there's no point in trying to glamorize this truth. You tell it plainly. Basically trying to please men. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for a point in time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So it looks like the prophecy starting, stop, start, stop. But as of now, as of lately, it seemed like the prophecy's been just moving. I was listening to the brother, Bakar Moth from Men of Valor. And he was going into how even with this whole war situation with Israel and Hamas and Ukraine and Russia, it's like the prophecies is still, because even with this agenda, what these devils trying to do, these things are still being fulfilled, even though it's being war on the earth. He was going into how, it's like they targeting certain speech and things you say and a number of things, because we were just bringing this out of our study today about how, persecution is mentioned in the scriptures. So we know these things are going to come. Verse 4, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desires hell, and is as deaf, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long, and to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. When you go into this word clay, it's abatya, the Hebrew word abatya, and it goes into heavy debts. And when you go into the actual understanding of what the U.S. or the United States dollar is, it's a debt note. And that's one reason. I mean, you got, because of course they printed all this money, and that's why we have inflation now. But also, it's a debt note. Like the debt that America's in has affected other countries, which the other countries are in cahoots with this to a degree as well. That's why all these countries are creating digital currencies, because it's a group of people behind the scenes, that 1%, the Illuminati, the illuminated ones, the Luciferians, that basically rule the world. So they want a certain system set up. So that's why you have all these nations creating a digital currency, which and it's going to be created to a degree because it's scriptural. It ain't just opinion or what you think is going to take place. You know what I mean? Like or man's thoughts of it's literally all scriptural, because it's actually the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. They say Esau's mark, but in actuality it's Yahweh Bashem Yahushua's mark. And he has a mark for the left hand and the right hand. And it's spiritual too when you take time to think about it, because that, C-hip is a carnal, physical device that's carnal, coming from Esau, which is a carnal man, but that Thuah is a spiritual mark that's coming from Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And those that got this truth. This is the book of Revelation chapter 6, and point is verse 6, and it reads, "And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and three measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine." And when you go into that penny, the word is denarius, which was a day's wage for a Roman soldier. So literally the bread is going to hyperinflate to the point before the money felleth, things are going to hyperinflate, like I was talking about in the Wine Republic and Hitler and all that. It would take a wheelbarrow full of money to buy a loaf of bread. So yeah, we again, you about to see more and more hard times. I listened to this one economist, or the keeper of the house, named John Williams, and he literally saying, like, next year, like most people that's followed the economy and are economists, they know that this is not going to go nowhere no time soon. Like, when you go through periods of like depression and recession and shit like that, that ain't just like no 6 months or a year. Like, go really look at the time frame of the Great Depression. Like, that wasn't just no 1 year situation. People was fucked up for years. And based on this, makes sense to me, speaking as a man, that literally I could see them trying to bring in things. Things were fucked up during the Great Depression. So if you have, brother made a statement. He said, we are already in a depression, but they've changed the terminology to a point. So that's why they keep on saying we're not in a recession. Well, the brother said we pretty much in a depression. So when they start announcing that we are in a depression, how bad is this place going to be? It's going to be over. It's going to be over with. So this is back in Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 5, and it reads, "Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, power and evil, and only evil, behold, is come." Verse 6, "An end is come, the end is come, it watcheth for thee, behold, it is come." And the end of this American dollar is coming. I'm going to end with Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 25, and it reads, "Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none." It's no, reminds me of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. They shall say peace and safety. These devils try to lull people back to sleep. Well, you got enough people. Well, I don't say enough. You got a lot of people that's awake, especially, the people of that devil's nation, these Edomites, that's ready to like stand up. You know what I mean? Like I say, Esau, this gonna be what, Brother May mentioned of something at the study today. He said, when you talk about the least don't live in America. I'm sure they may have shit over here. They might pass through America here and there, but they don't live here. They live in other countries that's not going to be pelted by those ICBMs, because they know what's about to take place here. You know what I mean? So if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, to the statutes and commandments of your power, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. With that, I'm going to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Allah, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rachak, double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, not more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aqua that are listening and learning, Lord, willingly this was edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time, we're able to come with another lesson. Shalom, shalom, mu'at lababah, shalom.